Hey, this is Hello Dubai, and it's time to say a big hello to Joe Bennett. Welcome back, Joe.
Thank you very much. Lovely to see you.
Now, of course, you've picked a good day. It's Fashion Wednesday today.
Of course I do that.
As you knew.
Yeah.
But
I woke up with a spring in my stride and dressed specially, yeah. This jacket is, not more than 30 years old.
Hey, but good to see it's coming back. What did you notice about fashion for a start in Dubai? Because, of course, we all are aware of the burqas and the garbs that the ladies have to wear there. Did you kind of get any insight as to how they express themselves fashion-wise with what they wear underneath?
Well, if you're looking at Dubai as an Arab city, it's not really an Arab city. I mean, it's only 5% Arab there. But yes, you do get an idea because you see in the malls, the malls catering to the Arab population, the burqa type thing, but also underneath what they wear indoors, and they express themselves, as vivaciously as you do,
right.
with clothing indoors in the privacy of the home.
So they can do that in their own home?
Oh yes, it's just public.
Okay, all right, good to know. So of all the Emirates in all the world, why did you choose Dubai?
Well, it's the most extraordinary story, Dubai. I mean, if we'd been sitting here 30 years ago and you'd said Dubai to me, I'd have said where? But you wouldn't have said it because you wouldn't have known where it was.
Exactly.
It was, when I was at school, it was roughly the size of Ashburton. And Ashburton, you will have noticed, is still the size of Ashburton. Dubai is now well over twice the size of Auckland. And it's internationally known. And that's happened in 30, 40 years. That's an unparalleled expansion. And it's a fascinating place. And everyone knows someone who's gone there. Everyone seems to have an opinion on the place, often a derogatory opinion on the place, without having been or having spent 2 days in and around the airport. And I thought there's a story here to unearth, what is the nature of this place? And I went there for that reason, and that's the result.
So how long had you spent there before you went back for this book?
I'd only been there for a few days. I'd only had a smidgen of it. Like so many people, I'd done a stopover and stayed with some friends there, and it had been intolerably hot. I mean, this is a place with air-conditioned bus stops. It really does. They're like little reptile cages in a zoo. They're glass, and you go in, and you're suddenly relieved of the heat. And in the midsummer, northern midsummer, which is June, July, August, it's just impossibly hot. 40 degrees, 45 degrees. You can only basically live in air conditioning. In midwinter, it's a very agreeable 25-degree climate, and a lot of people holiday there just to get out of the grey and misery of the northern hemisphere in midwinter.
But is it a constant climate as well, like in their winter, when you say kind of 25 degrees? Does it drop down much at night, or is it just always the same?
No, it's pretty balmy. It's a lovely climate in midwinter. Yeah.
So did you ever get used to those weather conditions, do you think?
An awful lot of locals or people who live there just move out for the summer. They go away for 2 or 3 months. But it is a bizarre city. I mean, as I say, if you think of it as an Arab city, you're wrong. There's literally 5%. 1 person in 20 is Arab there. Then you've got an expatriate, largely white, middle class from all the sort of developed countries, from South Africa, from Great Britain, from North America, from all the European countries, from here. And they would be the people that who've gone to Dubai as lawyers, as engineers, as whatever. And they're the people who've basically done the expansion, backed by Arab money. And then underneath that, there's a 65% of the population is immigrant working class, largely Indian, but with representatives from every country in the world, all of whom are working for an awful lot less than you would work for in a lot worse conditions than you would work in. But most of them are there. There is a lot of exploitation, but most of them are there of their own free will because Dubai is a boomtown. And conditions are better there for them, though they're harsh in our eye, than they are at home. And so you see the third world, as it were, come out from under its rock in Dubai. And you and I are dependent on the third world anyway in our lives. In that, if you go to the shop and buy a pair of knickers, there's actually someone working for a lot less than you would work who made them.
That's right.
But in Dubai, you can see the whole the strata of global society in one hub of a place. It's an extraordinary place.
You stayed with your friend Stephen over there, which is great. So he's obviously, well and constant, that kind of thing. And you've got so many many fabulous stories in this book of your experiences while you were there.
Many interviewers don't.
Well, I actually had to skim read part of it. That was the part where you were at the abattoir with the whole goat scene, and I just have to warn you on that one. But what was that like for you? I mean, obviously you get hard into it when you're relaying it and you're writing it and editing it and things like that. But initially for you, was that a bit of a shock?
What, the abattoir? No.
Why not?
Not really, no. I sort of like the reality of things.
Yeah.
And, if you have a steak tonight, the reality is that animal was butchered.
Yeah.
And I think if you eat a steak, you ought to be able to watch an animal being butchered.
Yeah,
And
that's a
yeah,
good way
I
of
know
looking
it's
at
tough, but the idea of, for viewers who haven't read the book, and I hope will, this little abattoir, and you'll find them all over the world. It's not unique to Dubai, obviously, but you go and you select your goat, and then you go the other side on a little viewing platform. You watch it being killed, butchered, cleaned, etc., and then you order how it should be cut up, and then you take it away in a plastic bag. And a quarter of an hour earlier, it was looking at you and bleating and eating. And that's fairly stark. And so there's a lot of starkness in Dubai, and there's a lot of prostitution because it's a very male society. Because most of the people who come there, it is just men who come to work and to labour to earn enough money to go home and get married. And so there's a vast prostitution trade, which is largely denied, but it's evident everywhere. And they drive like maniacs.
Did you drive over there?
I did drive over there with my heart in my mouth.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I mean, as I was going to rent a car, I was in a taxi on the way to the car rental station, and on Sheikh Zayed Road, which is the massive central highway, 6 lanes going in both directions, 1 trillion miles an hour, this Porsche goes past, misses its exit, but goes about 100 yards beyond, stops, reverses against 6 lanes of traffic on the motorway rather than going on a quarter of a mile to the next exit. I mean, the sheer balls of it was just fantastic.
Well, you did well to survive it by the sound of things, Joe.
It's a fairly vigorous place, yeah. It's a fascinating country.
There are some great stories in this book, Hello Dubai, and in Joe's fantastic witty style. You will really enjoy it, believe me. It's made me want to go there. It's next on the list. So thank you very much, Joe, and thank you for joining us.